Good morning. Happy Monday. It is 8 a.m. on the grounds of the 45th Annual Stone Mountain Highland Games. We've had more progress since yesterday. We are standing still at the entrance tent where you'll come in with your tickets and get to come in between the two fields. It's starting to get more clear which field is which now. You can see the bleachers have been moved and put into place for viewing some of the athletics field over here. Some of the athletic equipment and such has been delivered and put into place. We've got some areas here on the parade field with viewing stands and markers on the corner so you can get an idea where that's going to be. And of course, Highland dance on in through there. So we've had a lot more progress. All those tent frames we saw yesterday, most of them have got their tarps put on now. The legs will stay under them until probably Thursday. We usually don't raise those until later in the week, primarily because we don't want to have to chase tents down if the wind really picks up overnight. Gonna pass here by some more of the reviewing stands. You can see more of the field outline this way. We got some areas here by the big oak tree. One of the best landmarks in the place is this big oak tree. When you want to tell people where to meet you, it's a good place to rally when you're on a facility that's as large as this. So this whole area here will be marked out, and you'll have the standards put in place for the sheaf toss and for the weight for height, weight over the bar. And we have the caber toss over here. We've got another field where we'll do the hammer throw, and that I may bring us over there at some point for a separate video because it's across the street. But we'll go from there. If you look through the trees, you'll see a lot of blue now. I mentioned that we've got the tarps on a lot of the tents. It definitely changes the look of the lay of the land. I'm going to make a right-hand turn up here instead of the left I've been taking, so that we can go up past a few sites that we don't get to see as often, at least come in the direction I have been going. This field over to the left here is still where all the vendor tents are going to be. It's staked and marked and ready to go. We're just waiting for the tents to arrive. Those, I believe, may start coming in Tuesday or Wednesday. This platform right here is where our weaver's tent is going to be, and this is a good exhibition of basically taking everything from the raw wool to spinning it into the yarn, and then them being able to weave, the yarn from there. So it's a really interesting process to watch them do. Around the corner from them is going to be the Scottish Tartan Museum. This is the backside of where our hospitality tent will be, and we're going to take a right up here and walk through Highland dance again, and we'll come backwards the way we came yesterday. I mentioned on Saturday that we've got a church out here, our little kirk in the woods. This is the path that leads up to where that will be, and we've got our cross right there, and there'll be a beautiful tent put up there with stained glass and things like that, and it's a great place to come and renew your vows or have your first marriage. And we've also got a priest available who can do christenings. This tent right here, this area, is going to be where we have our Tourism Ireland tent. They come out and have some exhibitions with us. We're coming past the restrooms. Probably one of the more important landmarks to at least be aware of is where you need to come for those, and we'll have other areas out for facilities as well. But that's probably one of the more common questions. we get stopped and asked, where's the restroom? So Highland Dance is fleshing out quite a bit. The dance floors are continuing to be completed. We've got the bleachers put into place. Some of the seating is in here. We've got another, I think 100 chairs are stacked over here at some point, I believe. So yeah, we got that whole area. Beautiful fireplace. I like how they've put this thing together. I mentioned the other day this was a newer addition. When we first started the games, this pavilion wasn't here, but it was a good thing for the park to put up for us. Not just us, but we get to take advantage of it. This area here is usually, during the games, filled with all the dancers and their families. This is kind of their staging area. Folks can walk through and on their way to the competitive piping. I believe we've got tents up in that area now with everything tarped. So it's cooler out here this morning. It's about 46, 48 degrees, a little more brisk. Feels very nice. Helps to take some of the heat off that we've had this summer. We're anticipating a beautiful weekend. In spite of just holding the camera, it's kind of nice to get out and take the walk in the morning. It's peaceful out here for the moment. It's the calm before the storm. As you can see, we've got some of the tents tarped now. These are registration tents for competitors and for the bands when they come in. So when you come to the Highland Games, what are your favorite events to go to? There's so much going on out here between, you know, children's activities and the traditional athletics and the dance and the piping and drumming. It's always fun to hear what folks are coming for specifically. Some people, it's for the genealogy and the opportunity to connect with their families and their lineage and explore it. For me, it's a little of all of it. But leave in the comments, what is your favorite thing to do or to engage in when you're out at the Highland Games? You'll see each one of these platforms where the pipers are and the drumming for the competitive portion of it. For the solos, there's a platform. It's a 4-foot by 8-foot. Actually, I think it's a 16-foot platform. That's actually where the competitor stands, and they have to, in some cases, march or move while they play. And that's part of the judging that takes place for them. The judges will sit at the table under the tent and get a chance to observe and listen. We'll have to see if we can get together with some of the folks that are part of that area and get them to tell us some more about the rules and how things are done from that aspect, because as a piper advances, And drummers, as they advance in their ranks, they are graded on a scale kind of 1 through 5, 1 being the highest level and 5 being kind of your novices. And there are certain criteria they have to meet in order to advance through that, and that's what these competitions help them do. And it helps them as a soloist know better where they can improve, but it helps the bands also know how to set their bands up in order to be competitive on the, as a full band as well, because the bands are graded that way also. We mentioned yesterday when we came through here, this was all just piles of white pipe and a few frames that were set up, and you'll see that most of the tents are set, and I've got tarps on them already, getting ready to go. I think we only had 5 or 6 tents up yesterday, and now I think it looks like we've probably got the 22 or 23 that we needed for all the bands that are here. Atlanta's lucky to have a pretty strong piping and drumming community. We've got 4 local bands that are competitive in the area. Our host band this year, the John Michael Moore McIntosh band, they're here. We've got Athol Highlanders, which are based here in Stone Mountain. We've got the North Georgia Pipes and Drums, and then we've got the Atlanta Pipes and Drums. So you've got several opportunities in the area to not just watch and hear the pipes and drums being performed, but if you're interested in learning and joining the community, there's ample opportunity in the area, and even outside the area, the immediate area, just within the region itself. We've got several bands in Alabama, northern Florida, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina that also are there, and several of them will be here this weekend. So we've made that loop. The children's games are up here to the right. We'll walk there and see what kind of progress they've made. I think I saw that the golf course was getting laid out a little bit yesterday afternoon. It's very still out here this morning. Even the birds are being quiet. This is that clan meeting tent we mentioned yesterday. There are stacks of chairs in place already, and we'll have more tables going around today. The harp tent will be put up right here. Here's the golf area. We got clubs in place, and they've started to lay the basic foundations for some of the obstacles. You can see it's a reasonable size for what we've got to work with out here, and should be a lot of fun for the children. I'm trying to see where the archery is set up, but I haven't seen it yet. We have a spot where the kids can have an opportunity to shoot the bow and arrow a little bit. We've got our bean bag toss area right here. I believe this will be where the face painting and crafts areas are a lot of times. I mentioned before, over here on the left is where the kids get to do their downsized versions of the actual games themselves, so they can toss a miniaturized caber, play it doing the sheaf toss, that sort of thing. And you can see through the trees a lot of blue, all of those clan tents in place. There's 100+ clans, and then we've got another clan meeting tent that's going to be up here on the right. There are a couple of different areas where we have set aside for the clans to meet and have their business conducted. I think we'll walk past stage 1 and stage 2, and we'll wrap that up today so you can get an idea of the progress that's taken place. We have a smaller group out working during the week, but we're still here all week from around 8 to 4 every day. Usually a few of us here a little bit later, but doing everything we can to get everything put together. So we've repositioned some of the bleachers a little bit. This is stage 2. And you can see we're basically going to have the stage facing this way so that the extra audio kind of gets thrown into the trees, so that we aren't just, mixing over the sound as much, and we don't overpower the clans and artisans that are in the area. But this is the bleacher area for that, and so we're kind of standing where the stage will be. The bands will have a tent set up usually, where if you want to buy some of their CDs and t-shirts and such to help support them, it's a great opportunity for you to mingle with them. Several of our artists are local, some are from abroad, but it's a chance for you to get to know more about them and for them to mingle with you between their sets. We've got the tent set up, we've got tables and chairs ready for the clans. We've got one of the tents set up for the bands right here, and then the seating has been put into place here for that one. And that one will be sending their audio a little bit further out, closer to the lake. The birds are starting to sing now. All right. Well, folks, I appreciate you taking the walks with us in the mornings. And we're excited to have you folks come, and we thank you very much for joining me on my morning walks. I'll be doing them all week, and hopefully we'll have a lot more progress to show as we go. Thanks.